Welcome to the AU Scoop. I'm your host, Phillip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to support, go become a member and turn on your notifications. You never know. May see some Auburn, may see some Georgia. You're gonna see a lot of Colorado, but I'm gonna make sure I stay in the paint and bring you guys some good info on Auburn. So third practice of a spring ball in Auburn. Got an update, a small recruiting update as well, but we can jump right into it. So for those that don't know, Auburn has had their third practice. They practiced last Tuesday, last Thursday, and Saturday. Um, and they haven't even put on pads yet. So there have been no pads, no contact yet. The first practice was they didn't even have helmets. It was just shirts and shorts. Practices 2 and 3, they actually had helmets on. The first full padded practice will be Tuesday, but they're really just trying out, making sure everybody has a good understanding of the offense and the defense. They did bring in some key pieces on both sides of the ball. So right now, Coach Freeze he's not a huge fan of spring ball. So that's kind of why you're seeing Auburn take the approach to spring the way that we're seeing it this year. Has to slow down recruiting. They're bringing people in every week. They're gonna bring in some more guys. Big Cat Weekend is coming up, so you're gonna see Auburn continue their recruiting efforts. But they want to be fresh for the season. They really like what they have in their locker room, and right now there hasn't been a ton of separation from guys and key positions. They're still just working with different rotations, especially at safety and linebacker. You're gonna see them play around some at cornerback too. Don't be surprised to see K and Lee. If you see K and Lee play some more slot this year, do not be surprised. I think they're gonna use one of if they find that guy at the other corner on opposite of Jay Crawford. I'm not sure if they know if they have the exact guy yet. You brought in the guy Rayon Strader, but they're looking at the best fit. He's a really multiple guy. You can play him in a lot of places. So I'm not sure how that secondary is going to work out, but they do want to move some guys around. The talk of spring has been Deuce Knight. Flat and simple. Simple and plain, however you want to say it. He's been the talk of camp. When you talk to recruits, they're talking about Deuce Knight. Parents who've been there, they said Saturday, I got this from multiple sources. On Saturday, they say Deuce Knight showed out. Straight up. Deuce to Eric Singleton is a thing. Basically, you like even when they've been doing team, you can count on Deuce to E Singleton for 2 touchdowns a day. Basically, nobody has been able to stop that combination. But Deuce Knight, so we knew what Eric Singleton was, right? You had documented production. Every you go to On3, you go to 24/7. Everybody hearing the same thing that E Singleton been killing folks. Everybody and now from what I heard on Saturday, it looked different. Like it looked to the point where there was one throw where Deuce Knight went over the top, layered it over the linebacker's head, and then between the safety and the corner. Like there was only one place he could have made that throw, and he made it. And I heard, and they said the practice went nuts. And his leadership off the field, the way he works, studies, you always see him in the film room. He's always around the weight room. Like, first of all, Deuce Knight done put on 20 pounds since he's been in Auburn. So when you see Deuce Knight, he's not going to look the same as he looked previously. Deuce Knight is going to make this a real competition. I'm just telling you right now. For anybody who was mistaken and thought that Deuce Knight was just going to come in as a developmental prospect and he only wants to develop and had no shot at playing this year, that's out the window. Now, we're going to see what happens as the bullets start flying and they put pads on. But as far as the notion that Deuce Knight was going to come in and just sit, that's over. He's not acting like he's going to be sitting. He's not performing like he's going to be sitting. And I would be surprised if Deuce Knight, well, I don't know how the red shirt is going to work. And I'm not going to say that I feel like he's leading for the job at all. I'm just saying there were a lot of people. There was a school of thought that thought there was no way that Deuce Knight would be ready to play in year one. Deuce Knight is going to be ready to play. They were talking about it's going to take him time, and the kid is already up. Like I don't think he's quite at 220. I got a little ahead of myself, but he's consistently over 215, between 215 and 218. So from that perspective, that's basically 220. But you're talking about a kid that got that, that not even that long ago was at, 199, a little over 200. So for him to put on that type of weight, it's only going to help him. One, you're seeing that he has the deep ball, his arm, but the accuracy, I think, is what surprised the most people. You knew what he can do when getting to the second level, but they're taking deep shots, and they're going to use Eric Singleton and Malcolm Simmons. Malcolm Simmons is another guy that they think that Malcolm Simmons. So the people at Auburn right now, inside the locker room, feel like there's not a better wide receiver trio than those three in the country. Like, you can take them and put those on any team in the country. Like, there's only a couple players in the country that you can start that they would take over their guy. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, possibly Ryan Williams, possibly. They really like E. Singleton. They're using them all over the field. But Malcolm Simmons and Cam Coleman they really feel like they have the best trio in the country, and they're gonna show it. They're gonna utilize it. And that, from what I'm hearing, they're taking a lot of shots. Or the safety's been getting a lot of work downfield, from what I hear. Speaking of the safeties, hold on, before I get there, just to also talk about another receiver that's been showing out. That's Sam Turner. Sam Turner came in ready to work. Got some work in the slot, from what I understand. And Sam Turner been doing this thing. We thought that we knew that Sam Turner was going to come in and be a bigger body receiver, have an opportunity to get some, to develop this year. But Sam Turner, out of the freshman receivers, Sam Turner's made the biggest impact from the people that I've talked to. So I did want to make sure I made that note on Sam Turner. Speaking of safety, I think right now, up top, you're going to go right now. They're rolling out Caleb Harris. And what's the other? It's Caleb Harris at the one safety. Oh, and new boy, Anquan Fagans, Caleb Harris at up top, and Terrence Love has moved down into the star, so you're gonna see him play some star. So you got basically like a box safety, bigger body. Terrence Love is under 200 pounds, so everybody was saying he's gonna get but seriously. So he's gotten his weight, man. I think he weighed in at 198. So moving around that speed return. Shout out to Terrence Love. New boy has been good and covered so far. Showing some things that made some good IQ plays, right? You can tell he's played a lot of football at a quality program. So I heard some early returns on there on him. But they said, now, like I said, speaking of the secondary, now they said that the one person who's really been giving Eric Singleton, any fits, who's been playing on the best is Jay Crawford. And it's because Jay Crawford has turned into a technician. He's not trying to beat you with his speed. And I think he has gotten faster, from what I understand, but they saying like the way that he's getting his hands on him and trusting his technique. I love the fact that he's been competing so well with Eric Singleton. I'm talking about Jay Crawford, to build on that freshman All-American season, because he's getting the best reps in the country from the best guy in the portal who's already done it. And so when you have to guard a speed guy, or you can follow him into the slot if you need to, like Jay Crawford has the making of an All-American corner, and he's been showing it so far in the spring, and he's had the most success. And not to say that anybody's had a ton of success against Eric Singleton, but of anybody, I'm hearing that Jay Crawford has had the most success when it comes to getting his hands on Eric Singleton. Damari Austin has put on some weight, so I think to kind of solidify himself as that between the tackles runner, still has that explosion. So I think Damari is up between 208, 210. It's good weight. When you see him, you're gonna be able to tell. So Damari definitely has put on some weight. So he's gonna be your first running back. Also, Jeremiah Cobb has put some weight on too. So your first running back out right now is Damari Austin. But you're gonna see them rotate like more like a 1A, 1B. And Darrell Robinson, when he gets there, I know he had an injury. When he gets in full swing, he's gonna be that's another guy that people are excited about. I didn't get a lot on the offensive line and the defensive lines, so as I get more information, I will. But I did hear that Chris Murray, once again, has been somebody, and there's not a whole lot you're gonna be able to pick up from drills. Like when you're not in pads, the most you're gonna get is pretty much wide receiver, running back, skill position, one-on-ones type scenarios. But Chris Murray continues to be a guy who flashes it. You know what Keldrick Falk is. When you talk about when I was at the combine, I know I said it before, but everybody I talked to wanted to talk about Keldrick Falk as far as Auburn goes. He definitely has a potential to play his way into a top 10 pick. I don't think there's no way he gets out of the first round next year. But yeah, let me see, Sam Turner. Oh, then Deuce Knight's parents got to watch the other day, so he definitely put on a show in front of his folks. Oh, Ashton Daniels has been there all week. He's on spring break from Stanford, so he'll be back this week. So I think they got 2 weeks off or a week and a half off. So he'll be back in Auburn this week, just taking in the offense. Surprised a lot of people with how big he is. So I think that's a guy that they feel like is going to help, like, where you don't have to rush Deuce if he's not ready. But Deuce took the initiative to just come on with it. And when I'm telling you, mark my words, you're going to be hearing about Deuce Knight in the fall, and there's going to be a lot of clamoring. Now, I said all of that. Jackson Arnold has been billed. He's shown up as he was billed. Don't think just because everybody. The exciting thing is Deuce Knight because he's a freshman. He's so toolsy, so big. He's the future of the program. But don't think that Jackson Arnold's been doing a bad job. Like, Jackson Arnold has been doing his thing as well. I think this is the best quarter. And I saw Cole Pinkston say that. Shout out to Pink. He said it's the best Auburn quarterback room in a long time, and he's right. Like, he ain't lie. He told the truth. So from top to bottom, when you got Deuce Knight pushing, I think the competition is those are the real reps that you're taking. The ones and the twos, they just alternating. But the fact that Deuce Knight is able to get some run with the ones is good, but it doesn't mean that Jackson Arnold is failing or he isn't doing good. I'm hearing great things about Jackson Arnold. It's just the excitement about Deuce Knight has just kind of overshadowed it because we've seen some of Jackson Arnold. But no, they definitely said that Jackson Arnold has a great command of the offense, and he's taking shots too, like down the field, and not afraid to take those shots. And they say he's thrown some great passes. But it's just the excitement that comes along with Deuce. So I just don't want to make sure that nobody loses sight of the fact that Jackson Arnold has shown himself to be more than capable of winning this job, which I think he will. I do think Jackson Arnold's going to win the job, to be honest. But I just think that it's just you just can't count Deuce out because from everything that I've heard, the tools are just out of this world. Quick note, cornerback Jaden Lawton out of JUCO. I think he'll be in Auburn on Saturday. I don't know if this news is out yet, but I talked to some people earlier today. So they're going to go on Jaden Lawton. Hopefully they're looking to they want him to commit this weekend. They are really high on Jaden Lawton, 6'2.5" corner, can play safety. Originally went to SMU, basketball kid, only played 1 year of high school football, freak athlete. Red shirts at SMU, felt like he should have been playing. Goes to JUCO to prove it. Blew up about 2 weeks ago. He got offered in Florida last year. They changed the defensive staff. He goes off in the season. When you go look at his film, you can follow me on Twitter. I retweeted him, but his name is Jaden Lawton. This is a guy who could potentially change the secondary because he's going to allow you to move some things around if he's, if he shows to what he's shown on the film. Well, he just picked up he got Arkansas, Missouri, Auburn, Ole Miss last week. Florida's back on him. LSU's reached out. Southern Cal's reached out. Colorado's reached out. So keep an eye on Jaden Lawton, but I do believe that he will be in Auburn to take into practice this weekend, and you could see something happen there. All right, man, that's my time, man. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more Auburn content. And yeah, I think I'm going to slide down to the Plains this week, man. So I'll be able to get some more stuff for you guys. All right, man. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button once again. All right, Deuce, I'm out.